I was really happy with how we came out and started. We always talk about our start, came out 21-13 in that first quarter. And then, again, second quarter, let them come back a little bit. Then I thought, our third quarter, we were talking about at halftime, just coming out and really just making our defensive pressure felt and making sure we can try to get some consecutive stops. And we really pulled away then, had 29 points in the third and held them to only 14. So just overall, really happy with how we played. Defensively, the only thing that I would say, just again off the top of my head, without watching film yet, is just our straight line drives. They really just took it to us and we fouled and or gave up some layups. So we'll look at that and we'll learn from this game. But really proud of our guys. Again, down in some numbers, but just really we're playing very well together. And I love how we're sharing the ball. 17 assists again tonight. It just playing with a great deal of connectiveness and confidence, and it's really fun to watch them.
Good. Raise your hand and we'll get you a microphone if you've got a question.
Makira, just when you see those first two shots kind of go in, just does that kind of just fuel your confidence as you go forward in the game, and what did that kind of mean to get going off to a good start for yourself?
I'd say, for myself, it's good and all, but it also puts a little bit of pressure on the type of defense that they were playing tonight. We knew they were going to sink in on us heavy, so, if you're open, of course, shoot it. And then that puts pressure on them, which opens up more things. So it's good individually, but, great for our offense, so.
Kendall, career high of 31 for you. Did you maybe more satisfaction given that it was such a tall team that you did it against?
Yeah, a little bit. I felt this was going into it, it was kind of more of a defensive game for me since they were so big. But, I've been working on that that mid-range part of my game, and they sunk so far off, it's kind of I didn't really have a choice but to shoot it. But luckily, everything was falling for me tonight. So.
Makira, for the layman, can you describe maybe what that third quarter is like for you when you're in that kind of a zone and you know that you can get to the basket and transition whenever you want?
I would have to watch it back on film, but pretty much we just knew we had to push pace, and that's one thing we love to do. All of us, we like to run, and we like to play fast. So that's just what we did. And once it's rolling, you just keep rolling with it.
KB, I gotta ask you, what were your thoughts just on that pass that came in from Makira?
Coach Makira told me, she was hey, if you don't get a defensive board the second half, really start running it to put pressure on them, they're tired. And so I ran, and then I realized, I'm oh, there's three people. And then I see her rear back, and I'm please don't throw it, and she threw it. But it was in the perfect placement where I was able just to catch it and spin, and she's been doing that a lot lately in practice. But her passes are phenomenal, and as a big that is able and likes to run in transition, that's a dream to have a point guard who just rears back and chucks it down to you. So it's pretty awesome.
I feel like she was a wide receiver in her last life.
And you were a quarterback.
Just, Makira, the last couple games as a team to have 26 assists, 17 tonight, you have, I think, 8 of those. Just what's it kind of been like to just kind of spread the ball and pass it and just kind of move it like you guys have the last couple games offensively?
Well, since we know we're all a threat, it just makes the game that much harder on the defense. It puts so much pressure on them because, when we're letting the ball just fly to each other, and that's making them move around, it's tiring them out, and we're all a threat. So it's just better for us and harder for them pretty much. But we worked on that a lot this week, and just really making that extra pass and just really settling into our offense, which I think we did pretty good when we were in transition.
Kendall, you mentioned some of that size that Oregon State has. How do you sort of prepare for that heading into that matchup?
I definitely think Nick's our GA, and so he's about 6'5", so having him to kind of play against all the time has been pretty good. But it's really nothing different than the Big Ten. I am undersized for the 5, so I go against Markowski and Sarah Williams. I go against them all season long. So these girls were a little bit bigger than I'm used to, but I thought our guards did a good job of mucking it up and kind of not leaving me on an island a lot. But yeah, overall I thought it was good.
KB, can you give us any insight onto the look you give Shauna every time you hit an outside shot?
Well, okay, so I missed the one, she's like, hold your follow through, and so then I held the follow through, and then the second one, she was calling something else, and then I called magic, and then Jen ran magic, and I scored on it. So it was just like 2 instances back to back that were kind of funny, because she was calling something else, but we did something else, so,
It's fine.
yeah.
Whatever you score, I don't care.
Makira, earlier in the week, Genesis called Kendall Bostic Tim Duncan. Sort of as a comparison, do you maybe have a, do you agree, or do you have a different comparison that you have in mind?
I'm gonna compare her to Chase Brown.
He's a wide receiver. Running back.
Oh shoot. I don't know who to compare her to.
Jamar Chase.
Just very much herself, and like definitely has a knack for what she does and is very good at it. And the undersize has been a thing that's always brought up, but it's never been anything that gets in the way. So yeah, I'm just gonna say she just does what she does very well, and she's herself very well.
KB, I was gonna kind of ask you about that. Just did that description get back to you from what Jen said,
Well,
and what kind of springs to mind when you hear that?
Yeah, I was sitting in bed last night and I was just like, open Twitter, and that's like the first tweet that pops up is like Genesis Bride. And I was like, oh. But no, I mean, I love Tim Duncan growing up. I had like a t-shirt and a jersey of his. Just like, I don't think a lot of people play like him anymore. He's very fundamental, very sound, very basic, but I mean, he's not flashy or pretty to watch, but like he would have, a quiet 40 on you and like 20 boards. So I really like to like model my game after him, just being active, mobile, all that stuff. So I thought it was a pretty cool comparison.
Anything else for student athletes?
Got me, guys.